Hello, hello everyone, Dino here. Today we are going to take a look at some fun decks. We've got style pointers for you. Let's take a look at getting schooled. You've been reading all about that Infernal Professor. Let's put it into action. So you can see we chose Gazog here, and that's just to get a little bit more life gain. Most of the troop effects that you will see will gain advantages from using a little bit of life. And good, we start out with an Infernal Professor right away. Our opponent here playing a Benoshi deck, and oh man, minion of Yazukan. So we're going to see some pressure coming out. It's probably going to sacrifice that onto something big, or perhaps make an unkillable 3/3. This end is a pretty good initial go, though. How early do I want that Vampire Princess out? I think the play here, as efficient as it is to drop that Shard of Retribution, we don't need to play something on 4 straight away, do we? We could, though. Actually, no, yeah, let's Shard of Retribution is still the play. We're going to get that diamond, and we can just play the 2 blood shards from hand, so we can play both the Infernal Professor and Vampire Princess on 2 and then 3. Sounds good. Alright, so our opponent also playing a dual shard, getting some wild here, but that means he only has 1 resource left to play something. Is he going to drop anything? Doesn't look like it. We're going to take the 1. That's fine. More than enough ways to gain health. Up, there we go. That is a Ritualist of the Spring Litter. Perhaps we're going to see some Shinhair generation down the line. Ritualist of the Spring Litter, for those of you who might not be familiar, is a pretty big boon to anything that creates Shinhair. If one of your cards or effects would create 1 or more Shinhair, create that many +1 instead. We can get quickly overwhelmed here. Luckily we do have an extinction in hand. Kind of helpful. Let's get that Infernal Professor online. Come on. Oh, okay, so we did not get a troop. Instead, we got an Incantation of Righteousness, but this is why we make all of our non-troop cards so incredibly cheap. We can just toss that down. There's no fuss, no muss. And more importantly, no damage. But we will be taking at least 2, maybe more. If he ends up generating some Shinhair, can probably buff the minion of Yazukan. And we'll see some nastiness. Otherwise, crunch. Aha! A Wretched Brood. So he's going to be creating not 1, but 2 Battle Hoppers. We'll be losing 1 health a turn to create those Battle Hoppers, but perhaps that's worth it. Guess we'll see. Let's go with that princess. We are going to be wanting to gain as much life as possible. Here's that Battle Hopper. So if I had to guess, minion of Yazukan is going to be buffed up. Although the Ritualist could be a target, try to make it bigger and make it safer, but, it's such an important card, you want to spread out your threats wherever possible. And there we go, it is the minion. And as that gets bigger, it's going to be more and more threatening. For now, we'll just take the 3. That's fine. And a Sensei to go for some card draw. Now, if he has a Murder or other forms of removal, it could be a little bit sad. But for now, I feel comfortable with this position. We'll likely drop the Paladin next turn. Well, I could follow this up with a Vampire King. That's also a fairly reasonable place to be. Paladin is slightly more damaged now. Vampire King is more damaged later. We do open ourselves up to an extinction. Which is possibly fine. Yeah, let's go Vampire King. If he has an extinction, there is a 1/3 chance that we will take it. I'm fine with that. Let's go in for the 2. Nope, that is a Ritualist of the Spring Litter. Alright. So keeping that back. So the overall goal is to get this thing, the Incantation of Righteousness, up to 4 counters on it. So when there are 5 or more, it transforms into a pretty major buff. It is a 4/4, and if we have more than 20 health to our name, it becomes a global buff for your troops. They get +2/+2. Oh shoot. That Roostosaur could be a problem. Not only is it a way for our opponent to gain some health, but it can exhaust other troops to get +1/+1 for the turn, and he is going to be having a lot of troops. Oh my goodness. This may be an argument for using Extinction ourselves. Let's go ahead and gain some health. Kill his minion. Now, yes, it's going to buff itself up. It's going to take a little while to get there, though. Alright, coming down, toss Diamond Shard and swing in. Let's find out what is in his hand. Maybe should have played that Paladin. Most definitely should have played that Paladin. Mistakes were made. There we go, but we did grab a Ritualist and defeating. Oh, brilliant. Oh, but the Vampire Princess was not in hand at the start of the game, so we've got to decide something. Do I kill? No, this is what we're going to do. So we're now higher. Let's make a threat. We will tick down. We will get ourselves multiple blockers. And we'll toss down that soul marble. So we are threatening lethal. He's going to get quite a few hoppers. Trying to count this, we've got what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he can make this thing a 10-10 and bring himself back up to 18 if he does sacrifice it. Sounds reasonable. We will lose our buff, because it'll be able to deal 6 damage to us, which brings us down to 19, but between Vampiric Kiss and Gazog's power, I think we'll be okay. Let's block with a vampire. Okay, as we suspected, pumping that up for the damage and likely to buy himself one more turn. Well, we'll need extra blockers because we are looking at a Paladin of the Necropolis and Sentinel of Light, in addition to our threats in the air. Let's hope he has something. Alright, keeping some blockers back. The Roostosaur is still up there, okay. Gaining a little bit, not going for the full Monty because he only has a shard left. There is no recourse. He needs to keep at least 2 blockers back to hold off our ground troops. Fair enough. And I think we can end this by using Vampiric Kiss. Kill one of those battle hoppers. Gain a little bit of life here. Am I doing my math correctly? He's at 12. We'll do 9 in the air, plus 2, plus life gain on every other troop. That's looking like lethal. There we go. Probably didn't even need to kill one of the bunnies. Let's carry on. Well, again, a little bit unfortunate. Oh, okay, come on, Tech. 2 blood and a bunch of diamond. It makes for an uncomfortable keep. We're gonna have to go down to... Alright, this works. I'm not thrilled, but it works. Ooh, Hop Hero starting out. This is a problem. You saw how much our opponent was able to just generate troops out of nowhere, just explosion of troops. Hop Hero can start to just instantly kill our things if it gets high enough. That could be an issue. We'll start with our Shard of Retribution, get a diamond out. And I think the play is Infernal Professor. Let's try and grab something useful this time. I thought the Incantation of Righteousness wasn't useful, it just wasn't what I was hoping for. You take the 1. That's fine. And no turn 2 play. Awesome. Alright, what is your lesson today? Teach me, Sensei. Yes! Okay, Vampire King. This is one of those super fun exchanges, interactions. As mentioned in our article, this guy's not going to deal any damage to us. Oh, rather, he is going to deal damage, so it procs anything that counts as dealing damage, but we will be gaining health right back. Shoot. Doesn't stop us from taking 3. It's a little bit nasty. I need another shard. Without knowing what my other plays are going to be, this is kind of problematic. Okay, we're going to have to go... Spearcliff Cloud Knight? Probably. Let's go hunting for something else. Okay. Wonder if maybe the Soul Marble was a better play there. Oh, you know what? Could have also gone Blood and then played that Vampire King. Slight issue. You know, one thing about Infernal Professor that is really kind of useful is when you stop taking hits for keeping it in your hand, you'll start to realize that, you know, if you spread it out over two turns, you can actually cheat your curve. You know, you don't have to play your 4 cost on 4 resources. You hold it in your hand, it doesn't bother you, and then you can play it while we're stuck at 3, like so. I'll take another 3. Is going to be able to transform this pretty soon. Not a fan of this development. This player Spirit Cliff Cloud Knight. Nice thing is, so far we haven't seen any extra troop generation, so he just has those couple of battle hoppers. He will need some more to begin to kill off our stuff. And we do have Soul Marble. So we should probably start ticking that up. That'll prevent Hop Hero from being a major issue. One hopes. With one more resource, we're looking at 5/5 swinging in. And I'm not sure we can stop that kind of aggression. An earlier Soul Marble play. Probably better than the second Infernal Professor. So you can see, it pings us for damage, but we stay right at 10. It's beautiful. So if he's swinging in with the Hop Hero, that tells me he probably has some kind of buff. I'm not going to block with the Spirit Cliff Cloud Knight. And there's that surprise Runt Gang. Not to mention, he can just reduce attack as long as he has troops to do so. Yikes. Bad news. We're gonna lose Spirit Cliff Cloud Knight. Which may not be terrible, as long as we draw into a Blood Shard. But it does need to happen. You kind of have to wonder what your opponent is waiting for. Alright, Disciple of Yazukon. Now he has 2 targets for Benoshi's power. He can put it on the Disciple and have a flying powerhouse. 3/3 in the air. They can, again, just keep coming back. Or he can go all in on that Hop Hero, make it a gigantic 6/6. This depends a little bit on how safe he's currently feeling. The smart play is to spread those threats around. Now, we're not even able to block that Disciple, because with one resource open, he can use his power, reduce our attack and our defense. Oh boy, this is terrible. And yet, I think forcing him to do so is the proper play. And stop as much damage as possible. Gain as much life as possible. Unless we can stall up to a Soul Marble, I think that's game. So we're going to be taking a minimum of 7 next turn. That means we have maybe 2 turns left to live. Not great. We drew a diamond, not blood problem. No. We draw into a shard, we might survive. Otherwise, no, we're dead. Keep some resources open. Maybe fake out that we have a repel. But even if we are somehow able to turn Soul Marble into a Soul Cavalry, we are looking at 9 damage incoming if he swings with everything. That'll bring us down to 3. We can use our power to bring us back up to 4, but we're only able to block one thing. This should still be lethal. Unfortunately. Yep, here it comes. Ouch. He's not afraid. Alright, well, might as well add those resources up. Click those counters. No blood, we are threshold screwed, unfortunately. Can chase those colors all we like, they did not come to us in time. And we'll pass it over. And go to game number 3. I really like this card. Pop Heroes. So much fun. So there might have been a slight strategic flaw. I think I probably should have gone, you know, hindsight is 20/20, but probably should have gone with the blood there early on when we had that second dual shard. Playing an early Vampire King may have been beneficial. Now let's see if we can take it home. It's anyone's game at the moment. Alright, once again we are in that same situation, but this time we also have an Incantation of Righteousness in our hand. That's pretty big. Let's go blood. And I think the play is actually to toss down Incantation of Righteousness first. Or Infernal Professor. It's hard to say. Let's see what shard we draw into. Not a shard at all. We get a Fury of the Mountain God. That is a pretty good argument for going Infernal Professor. Let's hope we get something good. Haha, yes. The best. Unfortunately, we will take some damage, though, because Life Drain requires double diamond, so we are at a bit of an impasse. We have to get double diamond to prevent ourselves from taking constant damage, but we do require double blood to play our major threats. I think the answer is to get that diamond, then we can toss down the Incantation of Righteousness, start it to tick up, and that'll also allow us to play Paladin. So we are at the mercy of our top decks for that threshold, unfortunately, but at least we will be ticking down and getting a cheaper and cheaper Fury. This Fury of the Mountain God, if you are not familiar, when a troop you control deals damage, if this is in your hand, this gets cost -1. And guess what? Because of Infernal Professor, it is dealing damage to us at the beginning of our turn. Ouch. That's alright, we can survive this. And we drew a blood! Oh, fabulous. Let's go. Shard of Retribution. Stem the bleeding. And get that diamond. Incantation coming down. Very good. So next turn we can even play a Fury, if we were so inclined. Oh, turn 4 Fury. Ouch, but he is playing Hop Hero Samurai. So I think we need to be as aggressive as possible at this juncture. Will he sacrifice something to buff up that minion of Yazakon, or is he just going to swing in? Ah, but he's stuck at 3, never mind. Does not have the charges to do that sacrifice option. Fair enough. Fortunately, Corrupt Harvester is not the best in this situation, so I am going to toss down our Blood Shard. And let's see. If I play Corrupt Harvester, we are looking at Incantation of Righteousness. We'll have 2 charges on it next turn. Okay. These Furies will be 3 cost and 5 cost respectively. Yeah, let's go Corrupt Harvester. Toss down Paladin next turn. And this Fury is only proc on damage that is dealt, and the Paladin of the Necropolis, when you gain health, each opposing champion loses 1 health. It does not, unfortunately, click up or click down our cost. So I think we get more out of the Corrupt Harvester, especially since we are already injured. Looks like our opponent might still be stuck, not swinging in. Excellent. So the Diamond Shard coming down gives us 5 resources, and I think this is how I'm going to want to swing it. We'll toss down our Paladin. Swing in with the Corrupt Harvester. Okay, that brings us to 3 charges. We'll go 4 charges. Use our champion power here. And then I'm going to toss down our Fury. Now, it does prevent us from automatically ticking up, but that's fine. We do have our power. That's why we chose Gazog in the first place. And let's go ahead and brutalize that Hop Hero. He is not going to be blocking or hurting anybody anytime soon. Okay, tossing down a Mon Aru Sensei. Hopefully he will draw into that shard he needs. He's been stuck at 2 for quite some time. We are at 5 to his 2. Alright, there is that third shard. But still no double blood. That might be crucial. That means no extinction. That means no wretched brood. Does mean a champion power, though. He does have a 3-attack Sensei. Only we didn't have a second Fury of the Mountain Gods. This is going to be pretty brutal. First things first, let's get the most out of our value. We'll deal 1 damage. Like so. And now because we have 20, everything gets +2. So this comes down and we can give -6 attack to that poor Sensei. And now we swing. This is lethal unless he blocks with at least 1 troop. Yep, there we go. Our opponent is now at 4. Pretty commanding board position. If he draws into the blood and plays Extinction, if he has Extinction, now would definitely be the time. Okay, multiple blockers coming down, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Matter of fact, anything he blocks will still deal damage because of this Paladin of the Necropolis. It's such a devastating troop. Especially when everything you control has that life drain keyword. Soul Marble, but that is in many respects superfluous. We are just going to full swing here for the victory. Trying to think of anything that can stop us here now, and I don't believe one exists. And that, my friends, is game. Hopefully you enjoyed taking a look at getting schooled. It was one of our sort of later keeps. And perhaps you've learned a little something and gotten inspired. This has been Dinotropia, and I will see you on the other side. Cheers, everybody.